magic white rabbit has left its writing on the wall. We follow like Alice and just keep diving down the
Hey everybody, this is Holly Jade of Metalholic Magazine. We're talking today with John Falls from the band Egypt Central. How are you doing today, John?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much. Now let's start with a little bit on the band. Tell us a little bit about Egypt Central and when and how you guys got the band together.
In 2002, October of 2002, the band actually formed. Joey and Blake have been playing together for a long time, and then we met through mutual friends, and Joey moved back from Chicago to Memphis to play in the band. Like they both, actually, Joey gave up his college, and Blake left on the University of Memphis for music to start the band. And we were together about 8 months when we got our first record deal with Lava Atlantic Records. We signed with Jason Flom. And we went to L.A., made a record with Josh Abraham, came back, and everyone loved the record and thought there was multiple singles, and it was great. And then that's when all that stuff fell out, and then, the political thing started with, what bands got kept, what bands got let go, and about every unreleased or baby band was immediately released due to the fact that they were cutting 70% of the roster to make room for the artists that they were going to keep off of Elektra when Elektra closed. After that, we went out and we tried to find a home for the record, but because of the exit deal that we had made, we were not actually able to do so as easily as we had anticipated, because we knew that there was issues going on there, but no one could anticipate that there was going to be issues with every label like that. And pretty much that budget that was used to make that record couldn't be compensated anymore, because those types of budgets were gone. They didn't even consider putting money into a project like that anymore because the whole industry had changed. So we found ourselves with a product that was going to be very difficult to put out. So we just put it out on our own, and then through that created enough noise that we were able to get picked up off Fat Lady Music and ILG Warner Music Group. After many months of planning, we re-released the record on a national level with new artwork and things like that, and went to radio with it, and got really lucky with Make Me Sick. It actually took off at radio for us, and we were able to tour for about 2.5 years. And after that, it just same old industry crapped on us again, and we had to make some more changes throughout every aspect of what our camp was, and we're able to finally get to the second record, but it was delayed by about a year. Due to that, it took a year longer than what it should have taken. But fortunately, we were able to get that done and rectify the situation and go on with Skid Mills October of last year, late October, and make White Rabbit. We've been through pretty much every up and down that the industry can actually offer you from every aspect.
Yeah.
We've got it covered at this point.
Now, I understand the band name is taken from an actual street name in Memphis. Why did you guys choose that for the band name?
Well, because we tried for so long to come up with something that was a cool band name. The problem with that is that we were young and we were different, and we all were listening to different stuff, had different influences, and saw the band coming across to fans a different way, and just different things like that. Like when you put a different group of guys together, where they're not all just like, okay, we're gonna do this type of music. Everyone just kind of bringing their own thing to the table. When you do that, sometimes it can be difficult to agree on things, which ultimately is good if you can hang in the fight long enough to make it to where everyone does agree, because then if you can get 4 very different people to agree on something, it's probably pretty good. And we couldn't come up with the name. I mean, there were some cool ones. There was just nothing that popped out at us. And we had Egypt Central written on the board for a while. We had a little board in our room, and we were finally like, you know what, let's just do that. It says, hey, we're from Memphis, Tennessee, and this is who we are right now as of today, and this is who we're going to be for the rest of our lives. So it was a way to remind ourselves where we were from and who we were when we started, and to not let any positives or success at the time, so we thought, affect us or change us. But in reality, I think we ended up picking a name so that we can always remember our roots and not let any of this negativity that can happen to you in this and in life change who you are.
Very cool. Now, the new album, White Rabbit, dropped last month. What kind of response have you guys been getting to it?
It's been awesome. It debuted in Top 100. I think it debuted at number 78. When the record released a couple weeks ago, it was top 5 for rock. It was at 19 last week, and I think it'll either be there or 18 this week. It's constantly still getting more new stations adding it. We've got right at 70 cities right now playing the single.
As far as the writing for this album from beginning to end, how long did that take you guys?
Well, there was some stuff that had existed for years. I mean, some people think the other record's just like 4 years old or 3 years old or whatever. The reality is it's about 6 to 8 years old. Actually, about 8 years old.
Yeah.
And that's because it took so long to get it released on a national level. And then there was the gap from then till now. So there was a ton of material, tons of songs written, but before we went in, Joey really made it a big deal about making sure that fans were getting music as close to conception. Now, there was some stuff that he had and Blake had that were just like, this is too good to not put on here, but, okay, for the rest of this, we can write. We need to be writing and writing and writing. And that way you're getting the fresh, new stuff. There's a lot of stuff written and recorded in between, even a full record and tons of demos that Blake did and where he produced and engineered them. And before we actually went in and made this record with Skid. So, I mean, there was a lot of material.
Right.
It's just kind of been put aside. I would say it's lost because, you always go back and you pull from things and it's your bank as an artist. And it's awesome because, I mean, they both have so much stuff that we get to go back and pull from and then create even, new stuff. But I can think, okay, well, I really like this one thing right here. Or I like this, or I like this whole song. And that's the cool thing about this band, too, is that everyone's so creative in their own way and in very different ways and in similar ways sometimes. But that there's so much freedom to just, let's just try something. Let's see what happens. Let's write this. Let's write about this. Let's do this. Let's do that. And you never feel confined or ridiculed or anything like that. It just doesn't happen that way. And it's not like it's like, oh, it's got to be this way or we're not doing it. We don't ever run into those things that you hear about so many bands having issues with.
Right. Now, do you guys try to seclude yourself from other music when you're writing so that, there aren't really any outside influences on your writing or your sound?
Most definitely. Somebody asked me the other day what I was listening to, and I thought I was like Us. That's pretty much what I listened to. I was trying to be influenced, not because, I'm always, doing radio stuff. I do pay attention to anything that's new and fresh. And, we all listen to stuff when we're not recording, but when we're writing and we're recording, we pretty much shut everything else off, and we don't let anything in.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because you can see how it could, kind of influence what you're doing.
Well, yeah, and it will directly influence you.
Now, do you do a lot of the lyric writing?
No, the main lyricist is Joey, and it always has been. On the first record, there was quite a few things that were him and I together that we came up with, and there's a couple that I definitely worked on, but the first record happened a lot different than this record. The first record, they wrote most of the music for collectively as a unit, and then we would sit down and write vocals, and there was almost like a conference on a lot of stuff, but Joey would always still come up with definitely the majority of the lyrics, and then on this record, that didn't change at all. If anything, it went even further that direction. And then Blake had been writing so much that for me, what it allowed me to do was just let them be the writers, which, Joey had already been doing it for so long. Blake had already been arranging and contributing in all the writing on the first. Not to say that he didn't there, because he most definitely did. But at some point between the first record and the second record, Blake really found himself as a songwriter. That's how I personally feel. It's like watching one of your brothers come into his own with something, and he really caught that gear, and then him and Joey, really locked in together and did some amazing stuff. And then getting Jeff back in the band, I mean, Jeff's just insane guitar player. He can play anything. I always have to ask him when he's playing something, I'm like, who is that? Because he can play every song that's ever been created.
Right.
So he could be playing something else, or he could be writing something, and he's just playing a couple of notes. If I like it and I didn't recognize the song, I have to ask just to be sure. And I think that's one thing on here that you definitely hear is the guitar work of that, which is also cool because Joey played some guitar on, and Blake played quite a bit of guitar there too, and then Jeff obviously got in there and did his thing. But it's I would say it's just it got so much stronger, and for me, what it allowed me to do is it really allowed me the opportunity not to have any pressure because you always feel pressure when you are the singer to be like, oh, well, I have to be writing. I know I definitely felt that on the first record. Where I felt like I had to do that. And then when you have family and brothers that you trust, it's okay to let someone else take the reins on something. I mean, when it comes to a lot of different aspects of what comes with being in a band, they have faith in me to take the reins on stuff, and I have faith in them to do their thing with the creative stuff, and it just allowed me to work on my voice and become the singer I wanted to become. I had only been singing 8 months when we made that first record.
Really?
So it gave me a lot of time to really focus in on some of the things that I wanted to accomplish as a singer. And it's it's awesome, man. I mean, it feels like everything that we've worked so hard for the last 10 years is finally coming together, and it's tough some days not to feel like a little kid. Right. And there's other days where you're like, God, I really want to get off this stupid RV and go home. Well, I'm off of it now, so after you're off of it for 5 minutes, you feel better, and then you're ready to go. The best part of the whole day, by far, of any day, period, is when you walk on the stage.
Right.
And then the time after when you get to meet the fans and talk to them and hang out. It makes everything worthwhile, you know what I mean? It makes all the sacrifices, all the, years of living out of something that's got wheels on it.